Hey everyone, Sky here to discuss Austin Powers, International Man of Mystery, starring Mike Myers, Elizabeth Hurley, Michael York, Mimi Rogers, Robert Wagner, Seth Green, Mindy Sterling, and Will Ferrell, and directed by Jay Roach. Now, I remember this movie barely. I don't remember seeing it in theaters, but I remember watching this on home viewing after I saw the last one, which was Austin Powers, a Goldmember, which I'll get to in a couple weeks. And what do I think of this movie? Let's get into it, shall we? It's 1967, and Mike Myers plays Dr. Evil, and his henchman Frau Fabrizna, played by Mindy Sterling, and Mustafa, played by Will Ferrell, lives while the other henchmen die. Austin Powers, also played by Mike Myers, is celebrated in London as their spy agent, and as a model, Austin goes after Dr. Evil with Mrs. Kensington, played by Mimi Rogers, as Dr. Evil freezes himself in space with a big boy statue until 30 years later in 1997. And Austin freezes himself in London, England, to be awakened when Dr. Evil comes back. And as an opening sequence, it was hilarious to see Mike Myers playing a bald of evil and a shaggy spy from London, which was good storytelling by the writer, which happened to be Mike Myers. And Jay Roach directs this comedy as well as the Fockers trilogy. And no, I didn't say what you think I said. I'm spelling it as Focker. That trilogy. Basil Exposition, played by Michael York, unfreezes Austin with an American general in Russian intelligence being introduced to Austin, as well as Vanessa Kensington, daughter of Mrs. Kensington, played by Elizabeth Hurley, who was attractive back then, like very attractive. And they worked together to stop Dr. Evil in Las Vegas, and I really enjoy Mike Myers, and the humor is quite hilarious. And, for example, Mustafa is killed by burning up, and it does go on a little too long until someone shoots him. It's again very funny. Dr. Evil reintroduces Frau and Random Task, who's like an evil Korean wrestler. Patty O'Brien, who has a piece of bracelet, who's Irish, which is rather hysterical. And number 2, played by Robert Wagner, who plans on blackmailing the government to pay him, and let me do this the best way I can, $100 billion as ransom. And I have a ton of fun with these characters, including the good guys and the bad guys. They all work in their own ways, including Dr. Evil's son Scott, played by Seth Green, who cracks me up in evil ways. Austin and Vanessa arrive in Las Vegas, and the set decoration in those Vegas scenes are shot very well. The poker man, who's played by the soup Nazi from Seinfeld, plays Austin, and number 2, as soon as number 2 wins the game, Austin follows number 2 to the little boy's room, meaning restroom, and Patty attacks Austin, and Austin drowns him in the toilet, which was absolutely hilarious in an inappropriate kind of way. Austin goes into a penthouse to get to the Project Vulcan, and a woman named Aloda Vagina, with the F, by the way, folks, spelled like Alotta, that's the first name, Fagina. So don't get this the wrong way. Just to clarify who was introduced earlier in the film, goes into a tub with her. As he finds her out, he's a spy. As Austin gets closer to Dr. Evil, Frau invents the Feebots, female robots. And that was pretty damn clever. I also like the scene when Scott and Dr. Evil try to connect as father and son. Austin and Vanessa have an argument, and Austin goes for a drink and gets caught up to the 90s. As far as shows and music, and Austin and Vanessa go to the restricted area of the Virtugon to break into Dr. Evil's lair, which is a lot of fun. Austin catches up to Dr. Evil with Vanessa, and Scott enters and meets his father's nemesis. And instead of shooting them like Scott suggested, but instead Dr. Evil tries to kill them slowly and doesn't watch their death, which is a stupid idea, by the way. But Austin and Vanessa escapes their death, as Vanessa gets help and Austin is stuck, which made me laugh so damn hard. Austin decides to go to the Phoebots while Dr. Evil tries to drill a missile in the core to make volcanoes erupt. Meanwhile, Austin destroys the Phoebots, which is pretty funny, and they'll reference that in the future movies. Vanessa brings in an army of soldiers, and they all team up to abort Dr. Evil's plan, and Austin encounters Dr. Evil, and number 2 pulls a gun on Dr. Evil, and Dr. Evil kills number 2, and Vanessa knocks out Miss Vagina, and Dr. Evil escapes in a big boy again. 3 months later, Austin and Vanessa gets married, and I had a fun time with this climax as well as this movie. Now it's time for the rating. I'll give this movie a 8.7 out of 10. This movie is hysterical and hilarious in an inappropriate way, but at the same time, it's a ton of fun. I really enjoy being around the characters as they all crack me up, and the humor is quite funny. I'm glad I did a better series than Judd Apatow's movies, I'll say. So I'd like to thank you guys for joining me, and next week I will be back with Austin Powers, The Spy Who Shagged Me. And until next time, it's time to get groovy, baby, yeah! Not my best.